in London over the weekend. Protesters are infuriated after Danish-Swedish politician Rasmus Paludan burned a Quran outside the Turkish embassy in Stockholm and outside a mosque in Copenhagen earlier this month. Paludan was reportedly granted permission to do so by authorities. He says he'll continue doing this until Sweden is admitted into NATO. Paludan's Quran burning protest has many believing this may actually hurt Sweden's chances of being admitted into NATO. But now the media wants the public to believe that protests against Sweden have been largely peaceful. Sounds familiar, right? Something journalist Tommy Robinson may disagree with. That's why he took to Twitter to show the rest of the world what he witnessed outside of the Swedish embassy in London over the weekend. Tommy posted this video, which clearly shows flag burning and Allah chants outside the embassy. Soon after posting these videos, Robinson found himself permanently suspended from Twitter again. The suspension came without warning. Twitter claims they nuked his account due to hate speech. But it appears that left-wing extremists may have come together to mass report Robinson's tweets. And joining us now to discuss all of this is Tommy Robinson himself. Tommy, it's really great to meet you from across the pond. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
And, you know, I think you, like me, probably feel like Twitter is just a matter of time anyway, but it was faster for you than some of us others who feel like we're on borrowed time. I just got my account back not long ago. Saying this is hate speech, that's a stretch because you were just reporting, correct?
And they haven't even given me an email telling me what it is I've said. So they've just said hateful conduct, and I haven't been told that. They've told that to left-wing organisations, NGO organisations, these same organisations who were probably instrumental in deciding which Conservatives could have voices and which couldn't for the last however many years on Twitter and other social medias. These same groups are still operating. They're still doing their campaigns. They're still mass reporting. And unfortunately, I believed I was never given my original account back. So my original account had 500,000 followers. I never heard a thing. So I set up a new account. They banned it because I was a banned person. I appealed it and said, I've done nothing to be banned. There was meant to be an amnesty for people. My original account was suspended because I gave a statistic that 5% of the UK is a Muslim population, and nearly 90% of the convictions for gang rape of children are Muslim men. 30% are called Mohammed. These are facts that people don't want to hear, but they're facts that are a reality that's happening through mass migration and uncontrolled migration into our countries. There's real consequences with what's happening with open border policy that people need to speak about and look about. And when we're talking about the rape of a generation of our daughters in our country that's been facilitated and accommodated by police forces and politicians who for 30 to 40 years all knew it was happening, but they didn't want to do anything because of political correctness and the fear of being branded racist. So they unbanned my account and agreed I was allowed back on. Within 3 weeks, I was upwards of 85,000 followers. I had my voice back, and what it allowed me to do. So I was banned in 2017. I was banned off Facebook as well. I've been banned off YouTube. I've banned off all of them. And for the last 5 years, I've had to sit while people lie about who I am, while organisations, politicians tell the public who I am. For the last 3 weeks, I've been able to counter those lies, make them look ridiculous, show evidence that they're actually lying to the public, which is pretty embarrassing for them. And I thought it was all going well until obviously, and even this demonstration in London that you've just shown, the journalists that were there, you've got to read their reporting. They described that protest as beautiful, beautiful. You've got hundreds of people screaming Allah Akbar, masked up and balaclavaed up, covering their faces while setting fire to flags in our capital city. You know the gentleman burning the flag? He's actually a failed asylum seeker. I found out who he was afterwards. So not only is he a failed asylum seeker into our country, but he's bringing a canister of lighter fuel with a lighter, setting fires in the street outside embassies. And the journalists that are there watching that, not one journalist showed that video you're seeing. I recorded that. They were all there. They were all there. And even in my discussions with these men that were there, look, some of them were very, very nice men. Some of them were just there because they're upset about something that's dear to them being burned. Some of them were more extreme. In my conversation with them again, I asked the man, would it be okay for you to, and this is a video of this, would it be okay, would you allow your daughter to marry at 11 years old? He said, yes, I would. These are mindsets being imported into our country, which has a real big impact on us, on our families, on all of us that people need to speak about. But it seems that, as I said, a controlled media, and it now looks like a controlled Twitter still. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, well, you were one of the first people banned early on when other people weren't blowing the whistle as much, and then here you the first to ban again. Let me ask you, because you have shared what it reminds me of the Summer of Love here in the United States, right? During the George Floyd riots, that they pretended were so peaceful, and the BLM riots so peaceful. It's the very same kind of thing. You've been reporting the actual status of these protests. Do you believe it's politicians, important people there who have leaned on Twitter to ban you again?
So even TikTok, yeah, when I joined TikTok, and lots of politicians, Muslim politicians in my country, wrote to TikTok to have me removed. There's a video of YouTube CEOs, and they're sitting down, and they've got 5 of our politicians from my government sitting with them, lecturing them about my videos when I was on YouTube. The CEO says, we have watched his videos, we've reviewed all of them. None of them breach any of our guidelines. The politicians continued and continued until YouTube decided to censor me. I believe that government organisations, and they have these NGO organisations, as one called Hope Not Hate, that operate. Their job is to destroy anyone's life who goes against the status quo, whether that be against transgenderism, whether it be against climate change, whether it be against the vaccine, or whether it be against immigration. You talk about any of these issues, they come for you. They come for you, they try and fit you up, they try and stitch you up, they lie about you. And I think that there probably has been interference. To have me banned, I haven't broke any of their guidelines. All I've done, and I'm known for producing documentaries and highlighting the rape of young children by predominantly Pakistani Muslim gangs. My latest documentary is called The Phantom Rape Gang, where it absolutely destroys my opposition's narrative of what they say about me. I spent a week in a city up north after a young English girl had claimed she was gang raped by Muslim men in their businesses. When I went to that town, I very quickly found out that this girl couldn't be trusted in what she was saying. She had falsely accused men multiple times before. And I spent my time then working with the Muslims who were being falsely accused and having their lives destroyed by these claims. And then the politicians and all these including mainstream politicians, said that I was up there inciting fear and stoking hatred within the community. When I produced my documentary, the Muslims that I worked with have all come out on Twitter this week saying that you're lying about him. He wasn't being racist. He was working with us. And again, it counters what they say and the narrative that they're painted about.
Now, you said that documentary comes out this week.
It was out last week. It's called The Phantom Rape Gang, and it's on Rumble. I've done in the last 6 months, in the last 12 months, I've made a 4-part series. It's called The Rape of Britain, episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. You really need to get into America. Will be terrified when you see the demographics. If I've got time, I'll quickly explain. We have a town called Telford in England. I concentrated on that town. I spent 12 to 18 months with 12 victims who have been raped by big, large Muslim gangs. The police, in that investigation, that town only has 3,000 Muslims. It has a 1.7% Muslim population. Out of that 3,000, once you take away the women, you take away the under 16s, and you take away the over 70s, you've got 1,000 Muslim men. The police investigation identified 200 men in that town that had been involved. My investigation got the names of 254. An independent inquiry got the names of 365. That is 20 to 35% or 36% of the Muslim men in that town have been involved in raping young children. In that town, 1,000 children were identified that were victims. 5 women are dead. 5 females are dead in that town. That's just one small town. We also, in America, you may have heard of Rotherham. That was the big scandal town where they brought out a government report saying that 1,400 children have been victims. That town only has a 3.7% Muslim population. There's not many there. My hometown has 50%. When I was born in 1982, we had 1 mosque. We've now got 40. What I tried to warn America, and I tried to talk about and highlight about, some of the best people I've met growing up in my hometown have been Muslim, but there's a big problem here. It's like mixing oil and water. There's a different mindset. There's a different view of women. There's a different view of sexual age. There's all these different things that are coming in, and it causes a problem. And all I've done is highlight it, talk about it. We now in the UK, it's spoken about, and journalists that now feel brave enough to speak about it. They're only brave enough to speak about it because we laid the foundations. We were put in prison. We were violently attacked. We have our lives in danger. Now they feel they can talk about it. But whilst talking about it, they want to slam us and condemn us. It's insane. But and this wouldn't be spoke about if people hadn't took to the streets in the way they did with our activism for the last decade. So. But they don't like this. They don't like the public. Unfortunately for them, the public listen to me. The public trust me in what I'm saying. They don't trust them. It's a higher percentage now than ever of distrust in our media, especially after the COVID scandal.